All right, chapter 1, construction. Let's go where it all started with the red house, the chicken house. So, first things first, you have to ask yourself how many birds you're going to have. What kind of conditions are you trying to provide them? I live in Idaho, so it can get minus 20 in winter at night. What did you want to provide them in terms of shelter? How many birds? And basically their comfort level. Mind you, what I'm going to show you, everything developed over time. It wasn't like a one-time deal and done. You find an obstacle, you find an error, you improve on it, and improve on it, and improve on it over and over again. So, let's get started. I am a minimalist, and I want to make things as simple as I can for myself. So, and I also want it to be functional, so I can have it easy to be clean. If it's chore and it's hard, you're not going to do it. That's the bottom line. So you want to have good access. So having said that, everything is based on 4x8 lumbers, sheets, and 2x4s. Ease of construction. So my coops are 4x8s. You have a 4x8 sheet on the side, 4x8 front, 4x8 bottom, 4x8 roofs. On top of that, metal to last forever. So, ease of access. You can just get in here, no problem. This is a wonderful invention, automatic door timer, because I have long hours. I install that. Opens and closes, whatever you deem necessary. You can program it. That way it's safe, predator safe. Little flap I installed. Keep that weather out, snow out. Here is a little thing. Depending where I place that, I installed this little chute. So the snowstorm's coming in. It's a little hard with the phone and one-handed. But anyway, you'll get the idea. So now you can see they can just crawl on in there. Bar, you may have noticed my coops are on wheels, so I can move them. I can easily move them, rake around here, water, keep the grass going, sort of. Just a simple 3/4 pipe, little hinge, pull it off, pull it on. Here we go. Articulating wheels on the front, stationary wheels in the back. So let's get in the coop and I'll show you what I mean by constantly changing and expanding and adapting to your environment. You coming out? Come on. Come on out. Roosts. You might say, well, that's a stupid place to put a roost. It's totally in the way. And you would be correct. That is because when I first started, all my construction, because I was misled from things I saw online, was that all you need studs, you don't need supplemental heating, which we will get into later, which is absolutely wrong. So when I first started, I had nothing but studs. So let's go back. This is for, again, ease of and simplicity. The roosts, take them out. You can walk in here, you can stand up, take this other roost out, take another one out, and basically you can move around everywhere. So when I started, everything you see here was just studs. It wasn't walled in. Problem with that was when I hit my low temperatures, it was incredibly cold here. I mean, I had frost in here, I had snow in here, the regular perspiration would freeze, I was starting to get mold, even though with excellent circulation. So the reason this bump is the way it is was this perch was initially over here. But by walling it in and putting pink insulation behind, everything narrowed in. So let me give you an idea how important insulating a coop is, in my area that is, where it gets really cold. I had, and we'll get into the heater later on, I had 4 heaters, like the one you see in the back there. So a total of about 1,000 watts. And without any insulation at all, it barely brought the ambient temperature. It barely brought the temperature up 10 degrees over ambient. So when we were minus 20, it was minus 10. Everything was cold and frozen. So I started to insulate. So first thing I did is insulate the bottom. The floor was again just studs. So I had to crawl underneath the next year and insulate it, put the sheet underneath. Now that was a royal pain. You can just imagine crawling underneath, putting pink insulation, putting that 4x8 sheet, putting all the screws in. That immediately improved things. I went down to 3 heaters just by testing. Then I insulated the walls. Went down to 2 heaters, and that was actually a little bit too much. Then I insulated the ceiling. Now it is so well insulated that I have 1 heater, and I actually have to have it on a thermostat so it doesn't cook them. So my heater kicks out at about 55. It switches on about 40 and kicks off at 55. Boxes. Every single coop you see out there, the boxes are on the exterior for comfort. So you can go around the back, pick your eggs out. Again, that doesn't work for me. Chickens lay all year round. Therefore, those eggs will be frozen. I started off like everybody else. My boxes were on the exterior. There was an exterior wall. And there was no way, no foam insulation, no styrofoam would make a difference. Because it was just too much surface area. So I took the wall out, put the boxes in. It doesn't take that much space away, but it's better, much better, meaning I don't have frozen eggs. Now let's get to the controversial, I'm sure, portion about heating. Let's get this bar out. I'll show you my setup. It's been this way for the past 3 years. No issues. But somebody out there is going to say, well, this is a fire hazard. And I'm here to tell you no. So this is what I have. Pavers, 2 pavers, half a cinder blocks, pavers on the bottom. What I do have in here is a cable. And what you'll see in here is just a infrared reptilian kind of thing that they use, heater. This will heat, depending when I have the laser gun on, pointed, it will heat. It's just like a stove. The very top, the hottest it gets is probably 280, 290 degrees. The lower you go, the colder it gets. I made extensive tests. My main concern is for the birds and animals. I don't want to get them harmed. I literally put straw on here, hay on here, feathers on here for hours. No combustion. I put a 2x4 on top of here to press them down. Didn't even get charred. When you read reports of spontaneous hay combustion in the field, it's a completely different set of circumstances. It's bacterial action, moisture, and they combust because more of a bacterial action than direct heat. Plus, I have smoke detectors in both my coops, so I think we're good. My shortcomings, as you can see, these are just regular fencing slats. When I put them out, they were, I guess, still a little bit wet, and I have some huge gaps in places, even though it was placed real tight together. You can see some pink insulation fluffs in some corners. So now, vents, that's crucial. You have to have vents, and hopefully from one side to the other. If you have it airtight, with their respiration and the body heat, you will have mold, you will have, you want to go in your box? You will have moisture problems. So this is the first prototype, like I said. Look at that big crack there. And then if wind is from the prevailing side, I can close this flap, close it, and then we just have ventilation from one side. But unless it's incredibly cold, I leave both of them open. There she goes. Another little thing here, talking about overcoming obstacles. I wired everything so you can see sockets. I have at least 2 on each side for access. I have a timer for the lights, and they were up here where the roost was. They just came pecking at it, and they changed their times. So found a little electrical box, notched it out, put it on. There you go. Now my timer is set. You're gonna lay an egg, so now it's about 3 p.m. and you see she's coming in. So when the boxes were on the outside, by the time I got back from work, all my eggs were frozen. The floor, again, I change their hay once every 2 weeks. The floor has tub liner, and it's goes up under the wall there about a couple inches, just in case there would have been any spills, water or poop or what have you. Window is, again, this is my first one, so the window is a little small. In the duck house, I have a bigger window. Now let's come out here. Ugh. Not very easy, this foam business. So like I said, everything 4x8. 4x8 sheets here, 4x8 sheets on the side, the roof. These are the stationary wheels. What I learned, and I should have done, which I didn't, the wheels protrude beyond the base. Knowing what I know, I'd move them back a little bit. That way I could provide them additional shelter in winter. I could have, Kitty, what you doing? What you doing, Kitty? I could have some sheets of lumber falling down and have the whole bottom entire area enclosed, and they would love it. They would just go underneath there. So by having the wheels protrude, that kind of defeats the purpose. I guess I could cut out a slat for the lumber, but oh well. Now, duck house. Things applied from what we learned in the chicken house. You can see now my door is also insulated where the chicken door is not. I have a much bigger window, and let's come inside. The same principle, liner on the bottom. Ducks are a whole different animal. We will get to the animals in this next chapter, but they are completely different. They make a much bigger mess. You have my automatic door on this side, not on the door, because I wanted to have it insulated. All right, coming right in. So, applied what I learned on the windows. Same principle with the heater. On the windows, you see a more easy flowing method. Instead of having just a slat covering it, I just have the grate from the heaters. So now I can just close and open. Much simpler, much easier. Timer for the lights. They don't need a really light, just a single light. Not like the chickens that need light to lay their eggs. Ducks are a whole different animal. Thermostat as well. Thermometer to tell me how things are going. I turn around. Kitty. Same thing, same principle. Ventilation through and through. So, errors in this construction. Same thing, I've got these gaps, which I'm not really happy about. Window, even though it's a larger window, it goes too low. Ducks poop like crazy everywhere. There's no amount of cleaning I can keep up that would keep these windows clean. If I were to do it again, I would find a window, a large window that wouldn't go that low, but maybe longer from side to side. A narrow window, side to side. Going all the way down, it's a pain. And you can see, I initially had bare lumber, and then I painted it. And they still poop and squirt everywhere. So the next upgrade will be putting either some plastic sheeting or something up on the walls so I can scrape the poop in a easier fashion. Are you ready here? It's time to clean this up. There's, like I said, every 2 weeks. Come on, you coming out? So they have a ramp they get up. I notched it. I'm gonna put the chute on this side just like with the chickens, but I immediately saw a need that this is like a deadfall trap. So what I created is a little hook. So even though it's just notched over here, initially I had some legs. That's because this ramp is used for the little pond as well. But I've had this thing pulled out or slid off. So all I need to do now is just unlatch it and take it to my pond. It's just a little kiddie pond where they can go. So yes, those are the little things construction wise. Over time we will get into how and what the care and upkeep of the animals. And it, like I said, it doesn't happen overnight. It's an ongoing process. So here's something I came up with: the sprinklers coming and hitting these sides. I heard squawking in the morning, like a panic. I was like, what's going on? And of course the sprinklers shoot through the windows and get them while they're sleeping at 5 a.m. So simple, very effective. Little sticks, little white sheeting, plastic. I don't know how many mils, but it's thick. Just hang it in front of the window. They still have the ventilation, but they don't get squirted with the sprinklers. So I have one for the chicken house, which is older, all deteriorated with light, and one for the duck house. Power that you see coming in, simple but effective. Initially when I started, it was all just an extension cord from the house coming in with a splitter, just a regular extension cord coming down, clamped here on the roof, prevented from getting cut on the sharp edges. So it goes down here, through here, and over here. So from here it goes to the second coop, and from here it will go to their waterers in the winter. We'll get into that a little later. But like I said, initially it was just a little extension cord. Of course, the need arose every time I had to take it off when I mowed the grass, put it back out. Some got chewed up by the mower, so I buried a line in the ground, underground wire comes over here to my waterproof box, and this is where it comes out of. So this is my little box power clock. What you see here, we get power outages, so I like to see when I have a power outage, when I come back, compare how long it was out. Then I can reset my timers, not have to guess how long was the power out, how many clicks I have to do. So when the power goes out, I come back here, check the clock, and we're good. My duck pond, we'll get to the maintenance in the next chapter. I have my buckets for the ducks, waterers, feeders. So I think on the construction part, I have pictures. I took pictures from the very basic to from the framing to insulation to the painting. I have to figure out, if somebody wants it, how to put it on. I'm not quite sure how to do that. Just have a picture collage or something. Coming back to the duck house, see, the boxes, like I said, were on the outside initially, which was a total fiasco. So I had to redo this whole side. If you ask about costs, now, whether you go to a pet store, lumber store, tractor supply store, cow ranch, whatever you have, you see these puny little houses that they are asking an astronomical amount of money. And again, they're just 2x4s, nothing insulated. They're $1,300, $1,500. And I knew I could build these for a fraction of the cost. The most expensive part of this build would be the roofing. But just to give you an estimate, this 4x8 size coop, which is bomb-proof, I think, and it works for me. If I were to take each window, let's say it's $80, a gallon of paint is $20, and you can see my colors. And then the lumber, and then the insulation, and then outlets, and then the electrical cable, everything. Everything combined, the total cost is around exactly about $500. So I'm not counting the wheels, because you don't have to have wheels. You can just have it completely stationary. The wheels is just my little thing to move them around, push them around, rake the yard. So you can do it. It will take some effort, some time, but you can do it at a fraction of the cost. I think I've been rambling long enough. We'll get to the next chapter on your animals themselves. Mama Kitty, you coming out? I got a bunch of cats and they always love trailing, following me behind. You coming? There you go. All right, let's go see where the duckies are. Let's go check them out.